That's going to wrap up our 7th Congressional District candidates. We had invited Ted Vick, but he sent us an email and said that something else had come up and he couldn't be with us. So now I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Mark Bohemer. Mark is an American patriot, and he's going to tell us about fair tax. Thank you, Mark.
How many of y'all just spent a bunch of money getting your taxes done this week? Around the country, we spent $400 to $600 billion preparing a tax for this government. That doesn't even include what you had to send in those checks. It's just money being sucked out of the economy every day. And when you get half your money being sucked out of an economy every day, how can an economy thrive? It can't do it. This country was founded in 1776 with no income tax. The Constitution said no direct taxes will be put on the people of this country. This country thrived. It thrived for 100 years. Even through a civil war, this country kept thriving. The money wasn't being sucked out of our economy like it is today. We went from a civil war to building a Panama Canal within 30 years. 1913, here comes the income tax. 20 years later, we're in the greatest depression this country's ever known. And it's been a roller coaster ever since. We've gone from good times to recessions, good times to recessions. Here we are once again, the worst economy since the Great Depression. Most of it contributes to the money being sucked out of our economy by this government. I'm proud to follow all these candidates that want to go up there to D.C., but I just want them all to know they can go up there, they can do all they can, but they can't create jobs for us. They can't do it. But what they can do is give us, the private individuals and private corporations, the means to be able to create these jobs. Let's get rid of this 35% corporate income tax. It's the highest in the world. We just this year overcame Japan of having the highest corporate income tax in the world. But what these candidates can do, they can go to Washington. They can support the fair tax, which we get a lot of guys up there co-sponsoring this bill. We have the largest co-sponsorship of any bill ever put up in front of Congress in the history of this country. That's as far as it gets. They get a co-sponsor, they get some votes. That's as far as they get. What I wanted a candidate to do is go up and get this thing off the floor. Let's get this on the floor. Get it voted on. Let's turn this country around. This fair tax will be the greatest stimulation that this country could ever see for this economy. We would not only boom, we would bring $13 to $15 trillion sitting offshore in the Cayman Islands back to this country that's never going to come back as long as this income tax is keeping it over there. That's enough to pay off the national debt. So what I would like you folks to do is talk to these candidates. We don't just want a co-sponsor from the 7th Congressional District in Washington. We want someone that will get up off the chair, walk the walk, and talk the talk. We want somebody that will get out and work for this fair tax and change this tax system from a blood-sucking system to a productive system. We also have a fair tax bill here in the South Carolina legislature right now. And I want you guys to know that up in North Carolina and over in Georgia, we have companies lined up watching the state of South Carolina to see if we pass this bill. Because as soon as it gets passed here in South Carolina and corporate income taxes and personal income taxes in South Carolina are done away with, they're jumping border They're going to bring jobs, good jobs, to the state of South Carolina. You want to do something about 10% unemployment in the state of South Carolina? Call your state representative, call your state senators, get them to push this thing through our state legislature, and let our Governor Nikki Haley sign this bill. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mark.